Hello, and I'm your host, Erica Milbourne, and you are watching our first live edition on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Quinn Broadcasting of Girl Let's Talk. So much more than a conversation. So Girl Let's Talk, let me just give you a little background. Launched a little over a year ago. So we're celebrating a 1-year anniversary. We were holding our meetings in person, sort of like a weekend conference that happened once a month here in Millville. And it gave women an opportunity to come together and discuss business, discuss entrepreneurship, how to get started, how to grow your business. And most of all, it ended with a portion where women could actually just talk. Girl, let's talk. So we decided to bring it to a live broadcast where women, not just in the Cumberland County or Millville area could enjoy it, but women all across the world. So if you're tuning in on Facebook Live under Quinn Broadcasting or YouTube Live under Jim Broadcasting or local channel 22 here in the Cumberland County area, you're able to view us and partake. So you don't have to try to make it to where we are. All you have to do is at a click of a button, turn us on, and Girl, let's talk. On Facebook Live, you're able to leave messages. You're able to enjoy, partake in the conversation. And if we don't talk to you live during this broadcast, we can actually tune in later and answer your questions and provide you with information. So we decided to kick it off with a dear friend who helped me launch Girl Let's Talk a little over a year ago, Marianne Lods, and she is the executive director of the Millville Developmental Corp right here in Millville, New Jersey, right here in Cumberland County. And Marianne, welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you, Erica.
And thank you for helping me launch Girl Let's Talk.
That was really my pleasure.
I appreciate it so much. I remember the day you walked into my cafe. I had been saying, I'm going to go up there and see if I can, book a date at the Riverfront
Center.
Riverfront Center. And as I was thinking about going up there to talk to Diane, to book the location, Marianne walks into the cafe, and I'm like, oh my God, you're exactly the person I wanted to talk to. So you ended up being sent to me right on time and at a perfect time in my life when I needed to launch and have women to talk to for my personal situation. And like I said, just to give background, Girl Let's Talk came out of a dark place in my life at that time. A little over, it's actually going on 2 years now since I've actually gone through, and I tell people it's my blowout, my tire blowout. I was in that car, that vehicle of life.
Yeah.
And things were what I considered going well. I had just opened a new business, I opened it in May of 2021. And then by October of 2021, I had a tire blowout. I literally went from being in a business ownership with a partner to being a single owner overnight, a sole owner overnight. And that wasn't the plan at all. The plan was that I was going to have a partner. I was going to run the baking section, oversee customer service. And my partner was going to do the paperwork, oversee the kitchen, marketing. Oh my goodness, events, everything. And all that went out the window. Overnight, I was doing it all. So I thought, you know what, women need to know, one, tire blowouts happen. They're not always timed. They happen sometimes in the peak of your life, because I was riding the peak of a new business adventure.
It was very new.
A new business venture, and I was riding that wave, and all of a sudden, I had a tire blowout. And I like referencing it as a tire blowout because it happened just like that. I was in that vehicle of life. I'm going down the highway of life. Everything is what I considered flowing. And then all of a sudden, my tire blew out. And your car goes out of control.
Absolutely. And you have a wreck, usually.
And I did. Yeah. I basically emotionally, mentally, even physically, because it affects you physically when you have those kinds.
It does.
I had an emotional wreck. So I had a wreck. And I had to figure out how to put the pieces back together. And I needed to surround myself not with one person, not with two people, but with a village. And Girl Let's Talk became that village. So, Marianne, thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
Definitely, we'll dive further into my story as time goes on, because this is just episode number 1. So we want to date that. Today is our first episode,
there you go.
Broadcasting live on, Quinn Broadcasting. But I'm looking forward to so many more spotlights like this and episodes and
There's
shows.
so many great people to have on this show.
And we're going to have them. Women, yes. Men, don't feel slighted, please.
No.
We hope that whatever we discuss will also help men as well.
Absolutely.
If it's no more than to understand what women go through or how women feel.
And how different it is to be the business owner or even partner, whichever it is.
So, Marianne, tell us a little about you. Tell us what you do. I know, like I said, you're the executive director of the Millville Developmental Corp., which at some point I never knew about the Developmental Corp. until you came in and sat down and talked
before you opened, yes.
Before I opened, exactly.
That's right. Or just around the same time. I remember being at your grand opening.
Yes.
But I think most people know us and recognize Millville Development as Glasstown Arts District, and that we are the management and of that, and took on the full responsibility. And when we started that, really 1999, and then was full staff and everything in 2000. It was with the blessing of the city of Millville. It was with the Department of Planning and Economic Development in the city. And then with a focus group that said, yes, we like the idea of an arts focus in the downtown. Because if we have our own niche, something different than our neighbors or nearby or down the shore or whatever, then we can start creating something. And we knew other businesses would follow. And one natural is the food industry, restaurants and dinings, eateries. Well, over time, of course, we've evolved to quite a bit. But I began working for Millville in February of 2000, and by end of 2003, beginning of 2004, I'm not exactly sure, I became the executive director.
Nice. And one thing I like most is that when you're trying to get in business, funds are so hard to find. Sometimes. Some people, they have that inheritance, or, they have that nest egg, or they've been waiting and waiting. But the average person that wants to go in business usually is on a 9 to 5, and they're sitting there every day saying, what can I do? I bake, or I sew, or I design homes. I just helped my friend buy a house. I think I can do it myself. We start to think while we're on that 9 to 5, what we can do to become entrepreneurs. How do you, and like I said, finding funds. I found that you help find funds. If someone needs help finding funds, what does the Millville, I always want to say Holly City Developmental Corp.
They exist too, and they're women also.
But how, because I know you've given me information on funding for my business.
Yeah, I think some of it just evolves over time. But with our partners, now you mentioned Holly City Development, and they're a great organization.
Yes, they are.
And again, a nonprofit, and their goals are very similar to ours. They focus more on the residents of the neighborhoods around Center City, but High Street and the cross streets are part of their project too. So we've partnered on many different things over the last several years to be of benefit to business owners and also to the entire community by making it a better place. So some of the good things that we've been able to do is with funding that they have gotten and that we're able to help get a grant. Now, during COVID, and you opened during COVID,
yes.
But money started flowing to assist small business all over the country.
Right.
And I think New Jersey did an outstanding job by making it very easy to maneuver and to seek. And I can't give you an exact number, but we helped dozens of businesses with their PPP loans that became grants,
Right.
For the payroll assistance.
Exactly.
That was a big thing. And the New Jersey Department of Economic Development has grants on a rolling basis. And I know every time that I get one, I read through, and if it pertains to even one or more businesses downtown,
Right.
I share that right away.
That's great. That's good. Exactly.
And
'Cause
I'll help anybody fill out the paperwork if they need that.
Can I just give you the paperwork?
No. You have to pretend at least.
That would be,
I
because sometimes when
know.
you're reading through, and I think this is what discourages a lot of people, is that they really want the money, or need it. I'm going to say need it.
Yes, absolutely.
And then when it comes to filling out the paperwork, it's intimidating. It can be, even if it's
Yes.
the simplest application or the simplest forms, it can be intimidating gathering all that information. We want bank statements, we want, your W-30 if for payroll, we want, so that it becomes so intimidating.
It does.
How do you help take the intimidation out of that?
Well, I think the main thing that most individuals should remember, they need to be legitimately in business. And if they don't know how to do their own payroll, or they think, I don't need an accountant, use a payroll service. It's not costly, and you don't want to ever be in trouble with the IRS or the state tax department.
Right.
You want those payroll taxes paid on time every month or quarter, whatever basis you're on. Usually, for a lot of the grants that I've seen, and loans as well, because some of them are very low interest loans.
Right.
Your tax returns are key, at least 2 years, and so that means you need to be current on everything.
Right.
And then your ledger, your sales, your gross sales, and some people just say, well, I don't need to do all that. What's wrong with paying people under the table? There's a lot wrong.
Exactly.
And I'm not from the government.
We're not here to shout anyone out or lock anyone
But
up.
in the end,
Right.
you'll pay the price because you need to be paying into Social Security.
Exactly.
You need to be doing a lot of things that will benefit you later.
So what I found was that a lot of people say, like you said, can I pay them under the table? Well, when the PPP loans came out, a lot of businesses couldn't qualify because they don't use a payroll system. They weren't making those quarterly or monthly payments, tax payments and Social Security pay-ins to their employees.
Yeah.
So when it came time to file the paperwork, that was a key piece that was missing. And sorry, no. I know I applied for a grant and what happened was they wanted to have my clearance certificate. So you have to have everything in order.
Yes.
I was able to go on to the
online,
right online.
Yeah.
New Jersey, was it NewJersey.gov? I think it was. I was able to go right online, type in my information, go on, pull it up, and send it over.
Your business registration.
Business registration.
Right.
So if you're not following the rules, because they are rules.
Yeah,
And if
they're
you don't
laws.
follow, there are laws, there are rules, regulations, there are things that you are supposed to do as a business owner. And I think that when we jump into business, we don't seek those parts out. We're looking at, I need a bank account, I need a building, I need product, and I need staff.
And insurance.
People don't look at all that.
My goodness.
They don't look at workman's comp. They don't look at insurance for their property within the building. And it's a lot of expenses. That's why I said a lot of people jump into business not recognizing or knowing what expenses really are entailed. So they go in, they're in business, say for 6 months, and then you see them closed, or you see a year, you see them closed, and it's not because they might not have gotten business in the building.
Right.
It's all the expenses that they did not know they were going to incur.
There is nothing free.
Nothing. Nothing.
Luckily, we can seek grants, a lot of us. And I have to say, there are more opportunities for women to receive grant financing than men. And good or bad, I mean, that's the way it is. And also people of color. There's much more opportunity. And Erica, downtown in our business district, about 25% of our businesses are owned by people of color.
That's great.
And I think that's terrific.
The diversity has to be there.
Yeah.
And we are growing, because growing up in Millville, I'm born and raised in Millville, Growing up, there was maybe one. I think it was called Disco and Jeans Boutique. And the gentleman comes to my cafe now. He's like in his 90s, and he looks great. So there was very few businesses of color on High Street. So I think it's great that minorities, people of color, women are stepping up and creating businesses.
Yes.
I wonder what I hear people ask me all the time, like, we don't need another eatery. We don't want another eatery. We want some other kind of product on High Street. Well, I don't know. I guess you can't get a Nike factory outlet on High Street.
No, I doubt that.
You're not going to get a Target on High Street. But I remember the days of the Diana shop. I don't know if you're from Millville. I
remember that, yeah.
My mom used to have a store account with the Diana shop when I was a young girl. And we would go in there, and she had an account there, and you would just, charge it to my account. That was the days there was no card. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's when they bought out the book, and they turned to your name, and they wrote charged, and you paid. So there was the Diana shop. There was, Woolworths was on High Street. I remember we used to have a little store called Crest.
I remember Crest. I grew up in Vineland, but some of the same stores. Yeah.
So these are from my childhood days. I remember the stores. And one of the things I suggested was bringing back sidewalk sales. Like, how can we bring those back?
I love those.
Oh, weren't they fun? JCPenney's in Bridgeton. We used to go to Bridgeton and shop. Their sidewalk sales was amazing.
They had Rovners.
They had Rovners, yes. So that was one of my suggestions during a meeting that I had with the Holly City Developmental Corp last time we met. Good. Was to do Christmas in July.
I remember talking about that.
But make it a sidewalk sale.
I'm all for it. And in the past, I'm going to say maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, we did have a couple of sidewalk sale mixed with craft and that kind of thing, because not every building is a has a tenant, right? Or a retailer. If you're in a real estate company, you can't put that out there other than information,
right?
So I think there's nothing wrong with moving forward with that idea. And the summer was typically always the month when I was a girl and a woman even, and it was like, oh, where will I park the car?
Exactly.
Because you just knew there was not going to be anything available.
Exactly. Well,
we'll work on that.
We're going to work on that. And while we work on that and discuss that, we're going to take a short break. But don't go away, because Girl Let's Talk will be right back. And we're so much more than a conversation. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. Hello, I'm Erica, owner here at Everything Classy Sweet Soulful Cafe. We're located at 230 North High Street in Millville. We offer a wide array of home-cooked meals, from our tasty breakfast entrees, fabulous lunch options, including homemade soups, and of course, our delicious dessert. Celebrating someone special in your life? Let us create a beautiful cake for your next celebration. We're open Thursday through Monday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call us at 856-765-3282 or visit us online at everythingclassy.com. Everything Classy Sweet Soulful Cafe, where the main ingredient is love.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
Complete Care Health Network has some big news to share with you.
We're here opening more locations and offering more services every day,
including our newest locations on Pearl Street in Bridgeton and High Street in Millville.
We're here with convenient, high-quality, and accessible healthcare services all under one roof.
We're here just a call or an email away.
We're here to provide compassionate care for you and your family.
We're here and we're ready when you are.
Complete Care Health Network.
Ready when you are.
Welcome back to Girl, Let's Talk. So much more than a conversation. I'm Erica Milbourne, and we are discussing Millville, New Jersey, business. We're discussing being a woman in business, how to get started in business, and I do own a business. I own Everything Classy, Sweet Soulful Cafe, located here in Millville at 230 North High Street. And I have bakery/cafe, but we are a cafe. So when you come in, you can get baked goods, you can get home cooked meals, breakfast, lunch. Check us out. You know, you won't regret it, I promise. And if you don't like one thing, trust me, I have a million other things that I stay up half the night creating, making, and putting together just for you. So please check us out. So we are with our special guest today, Marianne Lods. And she is actually the executive director for the Millville Developmental Corp. And we were discussing before we went to break sidewalk sales.
Yeah.
And, you know, unfortunately, not every building has a tenant.
That's right.
Or provides a service or a product that could participate in something like that, which could actually leave gaps between. Mary, I have people saying, like, you know, High Street in Millville, one, isn't the same because it used to be kind of booming, you know, businesses.
Oh, yeah.
We're there.
Yeah.
And then they say, you know, when you ride down a High Street, if you're a newcomer to High Street, it can be daunting to see all the empty buildings, all the abandoned buildings, all the boarded up buildings. How do we overcome this challenge? I mean, I don't even know how to.
Not easily, but yes, and we have overcome it in the past. So when you say it was booming and such, so of course you can have a long time ago in the 60s until the mid 70s when the mall opened, and that happened across the country. But since the creation of the Arts District, by 2008. Only 3% of the buildings were not occupied. So, you know, that was amazing.
That's a good
and
number.
then what happened at the end of that year was the Great Recession. And so for 2 years, everything was sliding backwards. Many of our retailers, they lost their businesses. They had to close. People were not spending any kind of money. Some of the restaurants, they hung on, and some even grew. Not long after that, the theater opened. So, you know, but then you keep putting one foot in front of the other, but then you take a step back. What's the problem now is primarily the condition of some of the very old buildings. The ones that had been purchased by investors, or some of them are public buildings like the one I have an office in at the Riverfront Center for the Arts. They had their makeovers 20 years ago.
Okay.
So, you know, 20 years is a long time in a building.
Right.
And so deterioration, mold, vandalism, broken windows. So there are a few, I have to talk about one that's undergoing massive renovations, and that's right next to the Levoy Theater. It was once the Fath department store. And if you look at the upper floors, it's a whole new facade with
Is that where the big windows, the tall windows? Look like condos should be going. When I look at it, I think I can see
yourself.
I can see myself in a beautiful condo, and I see those windows, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to see in there. Right.
And so the owner, it turned over like 3 times. It went to auction, and then it was bought cheaply, which was great, and some renovations were done. The owner now is from neighboring Vineland.
Okay.
Which is good instead of someone that lives far away. And they have been putting a lot of money into that building. So most of it is done. They want to get the second and third floors for upscale apartments.
Okay.
Open, get their occupancy permit and get tenants in there, and then they'll finish the downstairs, take off It's going to be spectacular.
Is there an elevator in here, in that building?
I don't know. I haven't asked, but that's a good idea.
Yes,
I know.
If you're going to make somebody climb
Me
2 to 3
too.
stories,
Yeah.
we need to have an elevator.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're definitely off my list of places.
I agree.
I can't do
agree.
that. No.
But the plans are for a restaurant to be on
Okay.
a part of the first floor. It's a very big
that'd
building.
be nice.
Very
Yes.
big.
Yes.
Some of the other, especially a couple of the best restaurants we had in town,
Mm-hmm.
they closed during the pandemic because they weren't conducive for takeout menus. You know,
Okay.
it was a struggle, and I'm glad you opened after 2020, and it was still difficult, but every new business is difficult.
Exactly.
So, and then, but I will say some of the other large old buildings, it's an enormous investment, and it's not easy to find somebody to put that money forth.
Exactly.
The old bank at High and Sassafras.
Exactly. Right on the corner. Used to be Bank of America.
Yes, that was the last occupant.
Right.
Well, that was sold at the end of the year.
Okay.
So, no plans revealed yet, but it was sold. That's a great thing. So
is.
something will be happening.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Because it's very sad when you see businesses close that open. They do a short period of time, and then they close for whatever reason
Yeah.
it might be. And then you see all these openings. So, of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, why let the building sit there? If it's just sitting there, they're not making any money.
No, they make nothing.
So they're paying, or they're paying taxes, they're paying something.
Surely they are. Yeah, I check the tax rolls and everything periodically to see what's going on.
So wouldn't it be good to have some kind of like, I call it like an internship program. And that
pop-up
equivalent.
business?
Pop-up
Yeah.
is let someone that's, okay, so the person's credit might not be the best, because sometimes that holds people back from paying a bit of rent because they don't have the best credit. But they have a really good business idea. So you own this building, and even if you say, you know what, okay, we'll let you rent the building for a fraction of the cost, or whatever the cost is, we'll waive, say, the credit portion, because just because you have bad credit doesn't mean you're a bad
That
person.
you can pay your bills
And
still.
it just
Yeah.
means that maybe you hit a rough patch that made it so you couldn't pay your bills. But if you got back on the right track, you would do the right thing, because I think most people want to do the right thing. I want to say
Absolutely.
that.
They
That's what I
do.
want to believe.
Yeah.
Because bill collectors calling your phone is no fun. Or knocking at your door. You used to knock at your door. They don't knock there, but they call. That's no fun. So why not take the building, do like an internship program, create something where people can utilize the space. You become a partial owner, per se.
You do.
Meaning that you're like, you know what, if you fail, I get to keep part of this idea, or I get to keep it steamrolling. Because if you own the building, you got to have some kind of money or something. It just
Surely.
can't be that you're broke.
No.
So, I mean, in that way, some of these buildings wouldn't be abandoned.
Oh, I definitely agree with you. And some owners will consider doing that. And again, during the pandemic, we did have some of our landlords cut the rent prices just so
Good.
that they wouldn't lose a good business, because they knew it was such a struggle.
Exactly.
So, anytime I can intervene and talk with the owner, but then we have the owners that they're an LLC or a corporation, and I look at the tax information to be able to contact somebody, and it's not there.
Oh.
And so then what?
Right.
It's like you're on a treadmill with some of those. I'd like to see them all gone.
Yes.
But, good code enforcement of, decrepit building. That's
Yes.
not the right word, decrepit, but you know what I mean.
I understand.
And, they should be forced because they have broken windows or whatever else. They shouldn't be
Exactly.
allowed to have boarded up storefronts for
Exactly.
beyond a certain amount of time. Or suppose it had a fire. Well, then you're supposed to remove the building if it has to be removed.
Exactly. If
Yeah.
it's damaged, like foundational damage, or where they just can't rebuild it, they're supposed to demolish it, tear it down, or do something. And I agree. I think building owners need to be held a little more accountable.
Yeah.
And they should have time lapses on them. You should not be able to take a building on a high street and just shut it down and freeze it and make it just sit there and become but then I found like there is a property on High Street that they shut it down and froze it. They are not selling, they're not opening up, they're not doing anything, but they're keeping it up. I came past and there's somebody in there vacuuming the floor. I'm like, Yes, they
we'll
were
have to talk after.
They were in there vacuuming the floor, and I was like, well, what's going on here? I actually seen someone in there doing a cleanup. Now, I don't know if something had happened, if there was like something had, leaked or dropped or, something.
Or maybe it was a new owner that was coming in.
Possibly.
That's possible,
So
too.
I thought that was great. I'm like, wow. But I really do think that there should be some time lapses. There should be something that the city can do to demand that something be done with the properties.
Yeah.
You should not. Now, if you own a house and you say it's on, and I'm just going to say East Jabip Street.
Right.
And you don't want to do anything with it, and I want to say it's not used for a drug house.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a vacant property that people have moved into and they're just, tearing up a neighborhood, squatting.
Yeah.
Then you should be able to shut it down, board it up, and do what you want to do with it. And I apologize to the neighbors, because usually good neighbors don't want that either.
No, they don't.
But you're not downtown where it's supposed to be about business.
Right.
High Street
With
is
people walking.
Yes, it's supposed to be a productive street and a main artery for any town. And when you take a building and you don't repair it, you don't fix it, you shut it down, you make it become dormant, and no one's utilizing it, then I feel as though something should be done. There should be like cease and desist. Some kind of letter should be able to go out.
Warning,
Yes.
and then that's it.
Exactly. Something has
We're
to
done.
be done.
Yeah.
You're going to start getting a fine every,
and
some kind of bill.
sizable as well.
Exactly.
Right.
Because we have experienced in Millville, and this isn't a Millville bashing show
Oh,
or anything
no, there's
like that.
plenty of other
We're just
small
talking
towns.
about we're
Yeah.
talking about businesses, and there's so many women that want to open businesses, and they have dreams and they have fantasies and visions of opening businesses, and sometimes what holds us back is the credit, the availability to get a decent storefront, a location.
Sure.
is number one
Yes,
with
it
a
is.
business. So that does fall into, girl, let's talk about it. Let's
Yeah.
talk about what the real problem is, or what some of the issues are that women face, and not just women, men too.
and how can
trying
we
to
help you?
How can we help you?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So if you're looking for a storefront and you need help and you need somebody to intervene with the realtor or the owner,
That's me.
That's Marianne.
Yeah, yeah. And you can contact me if you are interested, 856-293-0556. And I have that phone, comes right to my cell phone.
Okay.
I forward it there, so if you call me on Saturday, I'll answer the call.
Well, that's good to know. So it's good to have somebody in your corner. I can tell you, when I got my building, let me tell you, it was the furthest thing from my mind. It was during COVID. I was working from home in the lap of luxury because I was working for this insurance company. I'm licensed in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut to sell homeowners and auto insurance.
Oh, great.
So I was doing that. I was going to the office 2 days a week, home 3 days a week.
Nice.
Then COVID hit and I was home every day.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Boring.
Well, no, not really, because then my boyfriend at the time would cook breakfast. I'd be at my desk working. He'd be like, "Here, I got your breakfast." And I'd be like, "Oh, this is so nice." Then I'd be sitting there. He'd be like, "Hey, what do you want for dinner?" And then we'd say, "Oh, after this, let's ride out or whatever." And it was just beautiful. When I tell you,
All right.
it was
You had a
beautiful.
vacation.
Oh, I had a vacation. It was beautiful. But I was literally, we rode out one evening after I had worked my job, and I seen a sign in the window that said "for rent." Mm-hmm. And I had been baking cakes from home illegally.
Oh, it's all legal now.
It's all legal now, but illegally. And I had been baking, I had been baking cakes from home for people. And during COVID, my business tripled. I couldn't believe how many cakes was coming. I said, these
'cause
people got to
everybody
be
sat
having
home and
celebrations.
ate.
No, but they were not supposed to be having celebrations, and they were ordering cakes.
Oh, for
celebratory cakes, like big
sheet cakes and
yeah, and I'm
everything.
like, or 3 tiers. And I'm like, well, I
wow.
thought you weren't supposed to be celebrating anything. But who am I to judge?
No, just
This is
sell
a
the cake.
no judgment zone. I'm selling cakes. So my business literally tripled. So I was riding down High Street. We were one evening. I saw the sign in the window. It had to be after 8 p.m. And I called the number in the thing. I said, I just wanted to know how much they wanted. I had no, it wasn't in my mind to really open a business. So when I'm that person, I had no savings, no plan, just gone. And here I am. So I called and they said the amount. And I was like, oh, I make that in 1 week off of cakes. I could do that.
Yep.
I didn't have a plan. I didn't take the air condition, the electric.
Yeah. Oh, the electric.
Yeah. And then they said, but we'll throw in all the appliances, and we'll throw in all the chairs and tables,
Yeah.
and we'll throw in that
and
soda
it was all
machine.
pretty new in there. Yeah.
They said, we'll throw it all in. So when they did that, it was like, wait a minute. I'm telling you, I'm not saying that this whole road has been, this whole journey has been, sunshine and roses. No, it's been some rain, okay? It's been some hailstorms, thunderstorms, but it has been like this was meant for me.
Right.
Even with my tire blowout, it still seemed like, okay, sweep up the mess, get a new tire on that car. This journey is for you. So if any woman is thinking about opening up their own business, and it's your passion, because doing what I do is a passion. I love people. So if I do nothing else, I just like talking to the customers and stuff. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
If you don't risk it, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. You'll say, what if I had done that?
Go for it.
I have no regrets.
Go for it. You have no regrets. And that's one of my questions I have for you.
No regrets.
So I have some questions for Marianne. We're just going to answer this one. So here's the one. Well, okay, so if you could change one thing in your career choice, so that could be your career from owning your own business to working with a Milbourne Developmental Corp to even right now. If you could change one thing in your career choice, what would it be?
I think this is an easy answer. Do not go into business with a relative.
Okay.
Especially one that you care about. It usually doesn't work.
Okay.
I think it's rare when it does work. And I think if you want to continue to love and be very fond of your relative, don't do it together.
Don't do it together. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the only real admonition I would have, or warning. Think about it very seriously.
And I agree, because my tire blowout was with a partner.
Yeah, almost the same.
We were in a relationship, had been in one for 6 years, and he had always backed me and pushed me. You can do this. We got this. Oh my gosh, yes, Erica can do it. He was selling me before I sold myself. I was sitting there like, no, I can't. He's like, yes, you can. And I would do it and succeed. So, yeah, I agree. I would agree. That would be, well, you know what? Here's what I would say. I wouldn't say don't do it. I would say carefully think about it. If you can define your roles, then maybe that's where it comes in, defining the roles. But you have to be careful, because I think the green-eyed envy, the green-eyed devil they call envy and jealousy, that's the problem, I think, that really comes out. Because somebody has to be able to play the background while somebody plays the front.
Yeah.
And if you're with someone that can't do that, and I found that to be my part of my situation, then I think that's also where you got to be careful. You got to know, really define positions. Define your positions, I think.
I think you're right. And I've had 2 experiences. I didn't learn from my first one.
I've only been married once, so I think I learned from one. I've been married once and business once. Once bitten, twice shy for
That's
me.
right.
Like, no, you will not get me again. So I have people actually come to me now and say about partnering, and I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
They come, do you need money? I'm like, no. Yeah, but no.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, but no, I'm good. I don't want to owe them. And I definitely don't want to go in partnership with them. So I'm usually like, nah, I'm good.
That's right.
I pass on that. I agree. And that's what they try to get you with, the money part. That's where you really got to be cautious.
The
investor.
Never is what.
Go look
a lot
for
of
a grant.
smoke and mirrors there.
Look for a grant. Just hold out until you get the money, or just take it one day at a time. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Exactly.
So, we're going to be going to break quick soon. But before we do, I just want to, tell us a little bit about your being a business owner, because you own your own business.
Oh, yes, a few. So I started very young. My first business was with my first husband.
Okay.
And it was a beverage manufacturing and equipment business. And it was wholesale. Okay. And I learned a great deal. So I'm very appreciative for my several years in that relationship and partnership. Next I had a cafe like you, Erica. Because I love to cook.
So well. Oh, okay.
See, everything I tell you not to do is what I already did. And it was successful.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it very much. It's very hard work.
Gosh, yes.
And I was pretty young still.
Yeah.
And the feet, the hands, everything, the knees, everything
hands
starts
and knees,
to go.
feet and toes. What's that song? Hands, shoulders, knees and toes. It all starts to go.
But I sold it for a profit, so I walked away. And then after that, I worked as the executive director for the Vineland Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
I really enjoyed my time there. And then my husband, and I bought a travel agency.
Okay.
And that was pretty darn terrific until 9/11 happened. I know I told you that whole sorry story, but I don't need to tell people here.
Right.
You know it was bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
9/11, travel, airplanes. That right there goes
Over.
for a travel agent.
30 days later, we were closed.
Right.
And down to our last few bucks, and paid everybody off, and then just went, back to our regular lives.
Right.
And then I took the position with Millville Development, and I love it because arts has always been in my blood.
Okay.
My mother was a professional artist.
Nice.
And so it was always part of my life, museums and art shows and everything else. I said, ooh, but this goes with business development, which I was doing at the Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
So it all went together, and I've been doing this for 23 years.
Oh, wow. Well, 23 years. What difficulties has being in business for yourself, being in business for others? I mainly being in business for yourself. What difficulties has that created in being a wife, a mother? Have you found that it has created, a difficulty, or how difficult has that been?
At times. Just depending what it was exactly, but your family has to be patient, whether it's your spouse or your child or children. I only have one child. I have stepchildren,
Okay.
and for me, when I had the cafe, I did that for one reason. My son was going into high school at that point, and I thought, well, this is great. He eats a lot. He's a big kid. And we live nearby the location, and he could, ride his bike or walk up to the cafe, get his after-school snack, and then I would be home. It was a breakfast lunch kind of place,
Sort of
similar
like
to
mine.
yours.
Okay.
Yeah, so I found I was going to be home enough time so that it wasn't like just, where's your kid? you
Right,
know?
exactly.
So I thought that was important. And, but you always have to put your business kind of first.
Yeah.
I know you think the family comes first, and it does in many ways. But you got to pay the bills.
Yes.
They don't go away just because you might be having a difficult personal time.
Exactly. They seem like, they actually double when you're in business for
Yes.
yourself. Because, for myself, I have a rent and a mortgage now.
That's right.
I rent a building, and then I have my mortgage. Then I have 2 electric bills. I have 2 gas bills.
Yeah.
So I do have to put time in there. Like, I sacrifice my family. My sister lives in Columbus, and Myra's always saying, come up. She's having a color party this upcoming this Friday, and I want to go to the color party where, all the women wear a different color. All the foods they bring are that color. If pink is my
Cool. I
color,
like
then
that.
all my foods are pink. My drink is pink. Whatever I bring is pink. My basket is pink. Everything is pink. The only problem is I work Saturday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning.
and you're busy.
And I get off at 6 o'clock Friday night. So by the time I make that drive and get there after 6, and then got to get up early morning and I got to drive back,
It's not worth
it's not
it.
worth it.
No.
It's not. And
You'd
it's
be
not
exhausted.
I'd terribly exhausted, and then she'd be worried about me being on the road.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to be willing to sacrifice. There's.
Yes,
I have
yes.
to sacrifice.
And vacation.
Oh.
I mean, we were talking about
We're talking about that.
But I remember when I had the cafe, I took 1 week a year. That's all.
That's
and
what I
that
do.
was not what I was used to. And I found out that making it 4th of July week was best because a lot of people went on vacation
Okay.
locally. And one day was a given because
the
4th of
4th,
July.
exactly.
Yeah. So, but that gets old after a while.
Yes,
So
it
you have
does.
to have the fortitude to stay with it. Just because you think, oh, well, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
Sorry, but you have a pile of bills over here, and you signed a lease for 12
Got a
months
lot
or
to do.
24 or
Exactly.
whatever. Yeah.
Well, you know what? When you say I can only take 1 vacation a year, that makes me need to take a break. Definitely.
Okay.
So we're going to go to break. Don't go away. We'll be back with more of Marianne Lods as we discuss Girl, Let's Talk. It's so much more than a conversation. We'll be right back after these commercials.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born. right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Hello, I'm Erica, owner here at Everything Classy Sweet Soulful Cafe. We're located at 230 North High Street in Millville. We offer a wide array of home-cooked meals, from our tasty breakfast entrees, fabulous lunch options, including homemade soups, and of course, our delicious dessert. Celebrating someone special in your life? Let us create a beautiful cake for your next celebration. We're open Thursday through Monday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call us at 856-765-3282 or visit us online at everythingclassy.com. Everything Classy Sweet Soulful Cafe, where the main ingredient is love.
Imagine living without pain. For over 35 years, Doctors Beebe and Doyle have helped thousands of people find relief from all types of pain. Millville Chiropractic Center has 4 doctors on staff specializing in hands-on or light-touch, drug-free pain relief methods. The examination, x-rays, therapies, and adjustments are all performed at one location. Schedule a consultation today. Enjoy life without pain and discomfort. Millville Chiropractic Center, the area's #1 pain relief center.
Welcome back to Girl, Let's Talk. We are so much more than a conversation. If you're just joining us, you have really missed a good one, I believe.
I think so.
We had a really good conversation. We've talked about so much, and my guest is Marianne Lods, and she is the Executive Director of the Millville Developmental Corp. And Marianne, it's just been a pleasure. You know, we're not done yet.
No,
but it's been a pleasure. We got more time.
Yep,
Yes,
yep.
we do. And, you know, before we went to break, we were talking about going on vacation. I definitely pride myself on going on vacation, one major vacation a year, and it tends to be longer than a week. It just happens to fall that way. It ends up being about 10 to 12 days.
You need the travel days.
I need the travel days. And I'm going out of the country, so I need that time to get back on to Millville time.
Right.
Get back into Jersey time. Get back into East Coast time. You know, I got to get rid of the jet lag. But I think I'm going ahead in time this time.
Yes, I know where you're going.
Yes.
So, yes, you are.
So I'm going ahead in time. So I don't know how that's going to affect me coming back in time.
You're going to feel it.
I'm going to feel it. So I'm taking 2 days to feel it. Okay.
And then you're doing our
and then
business
I'm doing
mixer.
a business mixer. We have a lot going on. We really do. Before we talk about upcoming events and what we have going on, you know, I want to discuss, and you know what, I guess this is my agenda time. So I'm going to have to call a segment of this agenda time, my personal agenda. People want you to work 7 days a week when you own your own business.
Yeah,
they literally say, well, that's the price you pay when you own your own business. But that's not, you're not supposed to suffer. No. It's supposed to be some perks in there. And some of the perks are, you get to make your own rules sometimes because you've followed the rules for so long. I had to. I had 2 children, so I had to work when they told me to work. If I got stuck, I had to stay. You know, I couldn't just leave. I remember I'd gotten divorced in '94. I'd gotten divorced. I had a newborn baby and a 5-year-old. And I tried my hands at Wheaton Glass, Nipro, over on Wheaton Avenue. And this is not an advertising, so you get no credit for this. But I call myself supporting my children because welfare to me wasn't an option. I was a licensed cosmetologist, but I had no health insurance at this time, so I needed to go to work.
Yeah.
And these are some of the things that women face trying to support a family and work. So I said, you know what, I'm the kind of person, I'll do anything to take care of my children. Anything legal to take care of them. I'll do what I have to do.
Of course.
So I needed another job. I needed a job with benefits. I went to work at Nipro. and I'm there working. And they have a rule, had a rule, still probably does have the rule, that you're on a stick list, like a call-off list. So if somebody calls off and they don't get coverage, you're next. You're hit. It's just you.
Oh, it's your turn is coming.
Your turn.
Okay.
So I have a newborn baby at home and a 5-year-old, and I had just worked the 12 to 8 shift. Well, I was working the 12 to 8, and they come to me and they say, oh, we have nobody to take your spot. Somebody called off and you're next. I said, no, I can't be next. I just work 12 to 8. I have 2 little ones at home. I need to really go home. Normally, I could find somebody. They're like, no, we can't find anybody for none of the 8. I'm like, what? So I say, bye. I'm done. Like, there's certain things that put me to be done. Right. I'm like, this is not
And your children
work.
needed you to come home.
Exactly. So, we were discussing the difficulties that we sometimes face. And then I'm telling you that people want me to work 7 days a week. How did you handle setting rules in place for your life? Because people will call you in the off hour, they will request things in your off hour, and they do expect you to work. Like, they're like, well, you're the boss. I've had people say, well, you're the owner. And I'm like, okay. So then that means no.
Well, Erica, you're very right. And when I was with my first husband in our wholesale manufacturing business, the phone, the first 2-3 years rang in our apartment. We had an office. We had a warehouse and an office. It was very small at the time, the business. It was just he and I, and then someone else came into the business, and then it started to grow. But anyhow, and it would be 1 o'clock in the morning. That's what time a bar might need your service, because they don't close till 2 or 4 or whatever it is. I ran out of whatever, and I need it now. And, in the early part of the business, he would say, all right, I'm coming. And that's a mistake.
Yep.
Because it's better to lose that customer. Because they're not all going to be that way.
Exactly.
Just like your manager or whatever, your supervisor that day. So there's a point. You have to set your bar that you are going to do so much. Yes, you'll do more because you are the owner.
Exactly.
You'll stay late when you have to stay late, but there has to be a limit, and you just do it. And if you lose that customer, so be it. So be it.
Sometimes you have to let it go. I had someone once tell me, all money's not good money. And, they're not saying that you don't need the money, that you shouldn't be flexible to obtain the money. However, you have to have rules. I had someone write me on my off day, and they literally said to me, you're not open today? And I was like, well, no. We're going on 2 years, and I've never been open on these days. I've always been closed. I only open on special occasions for these days. Or like today, I was open for the Teen Arts Festival. But normally, I'm closed on certain days, and that's the days I'm closed. I need rest. I need to, prop my feet up. I need to walk my dog, because it's hard to even walk my dog with the schedule I keep. I need to get my hair done. There's things I want. See the doctor. So, they told me you're closed. And I said, I said, yeah, I'm always closed on this day. Then the next respond, well, that's weird. And then I'm thinking in my head, well, what's weird about it? And then they say, is your business doing that good?
It's none of their business.
I didn't even answer.
No.
I didn't even answer, because at that point I'm amazed that this person would actually ask me that. Whether your business is doing good or bad, should I work myself into a grave?
They've never been in business for themselves.
Okay.
I can't imagine that they were.
Okay.
Really? Do you know different?
I don't know.
Okay.
They work for somebody, or they're going to work for somebody. But it just amazes me how people really don't think you should take time off. And as a woman, taking our subject into our health. Women health is so important.
Right.
And, I know.
And we pay more attention.
We pay. And you really should. I think everyone should. Men should definitely pay attention too. But we as women have so many, issues. Well, you can have a baby and then 10 years later have something that happened from the baby. Like how does that connect? Like why? Like this baby's 10 years old. He's not even a baby anymore. Why am I having baby issues? So, I know recently you've had some health.
But it turned out wonderfully. I had knee replacement. So
bionic woman over
here.
here.
Yeah. The other knee is great. I don't need it, so that's good. And I had no cartilage left in my knee, and it just hurt, you know, and I couldn't walk very far. Well, it's 2 months exactly now, and my surgeon told me last week when I saw him, "You're good."
You're running, Marianne. You're really running.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know about that.
Well, you had your legs crossed and everything earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, wow, you're doing very well.
He said, just wear knee pads if you want to go in the garden or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said, okay, but I'm thrilled. So I think don't hesitate. If you need a knee or a shoulder, it's so different than it was even 5-10 years ago.
Right.
And I don't regret it one bit. It was great.
Awesome. Well, I know a few years back, I had a hip replacement, my right hip replaced. And when I tell you this new hip is worth its weight in gold, I love it. You can't even tell. No one can tell if I didn't tell them. Even the scar is minimal. It's minimal.
Yeah, mine's already fading.
It's the only difference is because they had to pull the skin. You can actually see like a little
ridge,
like a dent. But other than that, women, you have to take care of your health. Like, you know, when we say, girl, let's talk about it. Your health is important. Don't work yourself into a grave. Take breaks frequently. You know, if you feel you need help, whether it's, surround yourself around a group of women or a village of women. If you need a therapist, if you need a doctor, a psychiatrist, whatever you need, if you need a health doctor, hip replacement, knee replacement.
Or just go out with your good friends for lunch or breakfast.
That's therapy.
Or whatever.
That's therapy.
Absolutely.
Come to everything class. Come to everything classy.
You can have your own little table for your therapy group.
And everything there is classy.
It is.
We don't serve any drinks.
Those macarons I got last week were delicious.
Aren't they good?
Yeah.
They're good.
They were excellent.
Just come on in. We have, and now I offer iced coffee. We have smoothies. Oh, today, I made so many smoothies today.
Oh, the kids love them.
They love them. I made so many smoothies today, I could literally think I can, in my sleep, just go and pour and mix and make smoothies.
Frozen bananas and whatever else.
Oh, my gosh. But your health is so important, women. Yeah. So, when we say, girl, let's talk about
everything.
Everything.
Right,
your health.
Erica?
It's more than just, we think money solves everything. It does not. Money does not cure all. Like, could money have fixed that knee? Like, if just having a pocket
Thank
full of money.
goodness I have insurance.
Yeah.
But
But no, I'm just saying, like, having money in your pocket.
Yeah.
That can't fix your knee.
No, it can't.
That's,
right.
You have to go to the doctor. You have to get help. You have to pay attention to what's going on with your body. Yeah. Pay attention.
Can we give a couple of minutes to the library, Erica?
Oh, yes, we have to.
I think time's running down now.
This is so much fun. So Marianne and I are both members of the Board of Trustees for the Millville Public Library. If you haven't driven by there lately, you have to. It's located right here on Buck Street here in Millville. And oh my gosh, the renovations.
It's fabulous.
Just seeing it from the outside is exciting.
It is. Every time I come up that hill, if I start at Route 49 and I'm coming, I'm going to say, oh, look at it today. More brick is on or whatever.
I love the brick on the outside. If you haven't been by, they got the brick going up for the wall, the
Wait
exterior.
till they get the art bricks on there because Clay College made, I forget how many, 300 bricks.
Okay.
With people in the community that designed each brick individually.
And they're putting it in on the outside?
It'll be somewhere. I'm not sure where exactly.
Oh, that is so nice. So you have to check out the Millville Public Library. The renovations are taking place now. The I want to say the older structure is still open to the public.
Yes.
You can still utilize their services there. They
lots
have
of kids
classes.
lots of kids programs.
They have a Lego program.
Right. Robotics Club. They just had Maker's Day where it was all creative things for different age groups. And there are also there's computer service if you need that, and maybe your computer died or whatever, and you said, "Oh, I don't even want to get another one because you have your smartphone." Well, go there if you need to look things up.
Print out copies.
Yeah,
it's what I think everyone should have. There's a couple of things everyone should have, and a library card is one.
Yes,
because the resources that the Millville Public Library offers, and I'm going to shout Millville Public Library.
Absolutely,
it's the best resources in the county. There, and then you have Courtney. Courtney she's
the best.
The best. and she's the director over there, right?
Yes, she is.
She's the director.
Yeah.
The services that the Millville Public Library offers here in Millville is awesome. Awesome.
It definitely
so
is.
you definitely want to check out the library. The renovations are taking place now. They're going to have a kids room. They got
there's so many things. An elevator in the
elevator.
And of course, books, and they're always buying new books.
Come for the books.
And digital books.
Digital books, exactly.
And audio ones, and media too.
Media.
Yeah. So
it's funny because I showed them a picture. I don't know if I showed it to you when I was 5 years old. Actually, I was 4.
Oh,
and it
I
was
saw it at the meeting.
And it was in March. The March before my 5th birthday. My school, I used to go to the Hollyberry Court, had a little daycare center there. And I went there. My mom worked there, so I went with her there daily. And as a school trip, they took us to the Millville Public Library.
Oh, sure.
So we just happened to be there the day that the Daily Journal was there, and or the British Evening News, one of them. And they took a picture of me. So I have the picture, and I just thought it was so neat. I was like, I have a picture of me 4 years old, and here I am now on the board of directors, for
Circle of Life,
Circle of Life for the Millville Public Library. So I thought that was great. But Marianne, our time is coming to a close.
Know.
However, if you need to reach Marianne at the Millville Developmental Corp, please, you can give her a call at 856-293-0556. As she said, it rings to her cell phone. Don't call her 1 or 2 in the morning.
No, I turn it on. I turn it on silent at night. Nothing interrupts with my sleep.
But you can call her, and she'll be more than glad to help you if you're trying to, obtain information about starting a business. If you need information on a grant or assistance with applying for a grant, you have questions, just being in business, in or a building that you're interested in.
One other little plug. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. July is our 24th summer of Art Creates Excellent summer camp for youth. 3 age groups: 7 to 9s, 10 to 12s, and 13 to 18.
Okay.
So just contact me, and I'll give you a registration form.
We probably forgot so much stuff, but you know what? That's why we'll have round 2.
Okay,
we'll have a round 2 because I think this has been a very easy conversation. I call them conversations. This is not interviews. This is
this is conversations.
This is girl. Let's talk. And it gets deeper. We have so much coming up that we want to explore.
Yeah.
And it's not always about business because you know what? We as women face so many different things in life, and men don't feel left out because there's a couple of things. One, I do plan on having men on the show.
Good.
To address topics and issues that affect not only women but men as well. So we want to do that because, one, men need to know what women think, and women need to know what men think. Men need to know how women feel, and women need to know how men feel. So the only way I can do that is to have men be part of our show.
I think that's a great idea. Venus and Mars.
Yes. So I want to thank you so much for joining us here at Girl Let's Talk. It's so much more than a conversation. If you haven't figured that out already, I am your host, Erica Milbourne. I'll be back the first Wednesday of every month. And that's if Jim doesn't change it, because I'm going to be honest. It could be a Tuesday like now, but if it's not changed, we will be right back the first week of every month. I'll have on a new guest, a new topic, but I want to thank you for joining us. This was our first episode here on Quinn Broadcasting YouTube, Quinn Broadcasting Facebook, and on Local Channel 22. In order to make this a success, please go to our Facebook page, write in your comments. If you have questions, write those questions in. We want to participate with you. We want this to be an interactive session, an interactive time. And if there's a topic you want us to discuss that affects women, families, even husbands, write it inbox me. Write it in the comments. We want to hear from you. So thank you once again for joining us for our first edition of Girl Let's Talk. So much more than a conversation. I'm your host, Erica Milbourne, and I'll see you on the other side.
This has been a QBC television production in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22 and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.